My name's Electro Donkey, and today we are back in the No Man's Sky type project we've got going. So in the last video we did the trees. Now for some reason I must be running on an older version or something, but the trees are not in this game at the minute we've got here, but you should have the trees in your one. But anyway, this video I promised I would do something a little bit more interesting. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing some inventory, well, not inventory quite today. We're going to be doing the mining for the inventory. So the first bit that we're going to be doing is into our objects, our object player. Now I've also got my example from the sandbox series, and we're going to be copying that over pretty much identical, but a few little tweaks here and there just to make it fit and work. There was a slight issue I came across earlier. Hopefully we can iron that out this time, but if not, we will try and fix that. So the first thing we're going to want to do is just go over here, click add event and mouse, and it's going to be global mouse left button. We're going to want to drag over some code, and we're just going to put a little comment in here saying mining. Now for the time being, that's all we're going to do for that, because before we actually go into the mining, we're going to have to make a few scripts. So this is going to be two little scripts here. So the first one is going to be script gx to mx. Now what this script is basically going to do is it's going to convert our, actually that's backwards, silly me, that is that way. So what it's going to do is it's going to convert our mouse coordinates, which are, you know, that would be 0, 0, that would be like 120, 1808, something, I don't know. But it's going to convert that to our single block coordinates, like 0, 0, and then 1, 1, and then, you know, like that. So we can actually use that within our little system we've got going. So how this is going to work is it's going to take in some variables, well, one variable, the mouse. So it's going to be this, and it's going to take in a mouse underscore x. Now var mx is going to equal our argument 1, or 0 as I should say. Now what we're going to want to do with this is we're going to want to convert it. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to use another variable, and this is going to be called, let's say, xpos for x position in the grid. Now actually let's make that a little bit easier for ourselves, and let's do that gx, because that works, doesn't it? Gx grid x mx mouse x. So yeah, let's go with that. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to take our mx and then use div as opposed to a line, because this will give us a whole number, and obviously our planet coordinates are all whole numbers. I'm going to divide it by cell width. This will give us the closest sort of block to our mouse, and that will be the one we're destroying. So here we're going to simply return the gx. Okay guys, that is literally it for that script. But we're going to want to do one more for the mx. So here, the mx, the my, sorry, my to mx. No, that's still not right, Tom. Like that, my to gy. And basically we're just going to go along and change everything to be a y that is an x. Now this, we'll just go along and just change every little bit. And also we want to change this to cell height, even though in our game they are identical. If your cell height and cell width were different, you would need to do that. So that is both of our scripts that they're done. Now we can convert our mouse to our grid position, but now we want to actually use this. So inside our mining script here, we're going to start to add some code. First thing we're going to want to do is actually call those scripts. So gx equals script mx to gx, and we're going to put in our mouse x variable, and then var gy equals script my, and that's going to be mouse y. pretty simple stuff. Basically, we're just converting them. Now, you can use these scripts in any way you like now. We've got them all done. So that's something that's also quite handy. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to have a sort of count running. And for this, we're going to need a few variables. So let's go ahead and make them now in the create event. So the first thing, I've already actually put these in. The first thing you're going to want to do is put in up here m speed, which stands for mining speed. Now what this is how long it takes to mine one block. Now this can be a dynamic variable, so you could change it within code depending on which block it is, but for this purpose, just to make it quicker, we're just going to use 2 seconds, e.g. 2 times room speed. Now down here we've got count equals 0. Now this is just our count because for some reason my alarms don't work. And then prev tile stands for previous tile, and we'll go into what that means in a minute. So in the mining, we're going to want to do a little bit here to add up our count, so to see how many seconds as such or steps as it should be, how many steps we have been mining or holding down our mine button on the block. And to do this, we're going to use if, and we need to do tile find. Is it tile find? I've forgotten what it's called. Tile layer find, and it's going to be the depth of 0, which is our default layer. Let's actually full screen this for the time being. And we're going to use our preset variables gx and gy there. I'm going to say if this equals prev tile. Now again, I'll go into this in a minute, but here's the other bit, and this is otherwise, or prev tile equals 0. Now the prev tile equals 0 we can explain because that's the first iteration. So when we are on our first iteration on the create event, we've set it to 0, so if it's on its first iteration, we still want it to run. Now what we're going to want to do, if this is true, is we're going to want to add to our count. Now this means every single step that we are on this tile, we're going to add 1. Now this is the fancy bit, because we're now going to say the prev tile equals tile layer find. Actually we've made an error here, because this is meant to be our mouse X and that is meant to be our mouse Y. Now the reason for this is because those variables, the layer isn't to do with the planet grid, that is to do with the actual room. Now again, we're just going to copy this into there, and that will find the layer there. That will find the background tile that we are currently clicking on. So what this will do is it will set our previous tile here to equal the tile that we're currently holding down. So it's basically saying that if we are holding down consecutively on this one tile for however long we've got, so in this case 2 seconds, then that count's just going to keep rising until we do something else, which we'll go into later. But otherwise, if we've moved on to a separate tile, so what this will do is it will prevent us from moving from tile to tile and crossing over the counts, because that will mess it up. Then we're going to set both of our counts, so our count equals 0 and our prev tile equals 0 as well, so resetting our variables, because if we've moved to another tile we want to reset both of them. Now in another if statement, so this is if count equals, and my cat is having a little, she's gone. If count equals our mining speed, e.g. 2, now we're going to want to do the next bit. So this is where I have to bring up my example because I've forgotten. So in here. So this is, actually we don't want that, just remembered, just seeing there actually. So if our count equals our mining speed, what are we going to do? So we're gonna first off set the actual planet. Oh, it's world gen, isn't it? World gen dot planet. We're going to set the actual variable inside of that grid to equal air, so it will no longer check for collisions against that. Next bit we're going to want to do is actually visually remove the tile. So to do this, we're going to once again find the tile like we've done here, so you can just copy and paste that bit in. But then we're going to check if the tile is actually existent, if it's nothing, basically, if it's not nothing. And if it's not nothing, then we're going to delete it, so it's no longer going to be there. Now that's almost it, but once again we just need to reset these variables here, and there you go, we've reset the variables at the end, and fingers crossed this should work. Now, as I say last time, there was a slight issue with this in the form of it not mining every single block, but yeah, you can see it doesn't like mining certain blocks for whatever reason. So is it mining any blocks actually? Because if it's not mining any, that is quite the issue. Right, let's sort that out now, because that is not a slight issue in the mining. Let's just go ahead and check to our example. So they are all the same. This bit is also all the same. Count plus plus. Yes, yes, yes. Odd actually, because that is identical to this here. I actually cannot see a single error there, and that definitely works in this game. So maybe we've put this, maybe we've put that variable, or maybe we are not drawing on the zero layer, but maybe that's the other option. Let's go ahead and find out, shall we? Just quickly. So the world gen is on 0, and the create a planet. Let's just set it right at the top here. So tile set depth. Are we going to be able to, or should we do draw set depth? I'm not sure. What kind of, we use tile add, so tile set depth ID. Let's have a look at this function quickly. So we need an ID to actually set it. So let's find another kind of function. There must be one somewhere. Tile. Actually, yeah, we can just, when we've added the tile, it should tell us there. Yeah, we have added the tiles at 0. So why is it not deleting them? Let's just run it again and just check it wasn't just some random glitch that was happening with GameMaker. But oddly enough, that should work. That definitely should work. Actually, as a matter of fact. Now I can't see any blocks going. Let's try holding it down for like a super long time and see if that happens. If that works. I mean, I'm holding that down. That's gone for quite a while. Let's just go ahead and check we've put it in the right thing. Global left button. That is right. Our depth is -1. Let's try changing our depth to 0. See if that makes any difference. That's the only possible thing I can really think that was different. Otherwise we have, there we go. Alright, so we got one block removed, and this was again the issue that I had before, where one block would remove and then the next one wouldn't. So, you know, whilst we're at it, we may as well go ahead and try and fix that issue there whilst we are going ahead. So possibly the prev tile isn't working. That's a option. What else could be going wrong? I mean, we are resetting there. Let's try resetting there as well. So let's just set the prev tile to 0 again. I don't think that should be a major issue, but actually, yeah, that might be an issue, come to think of it. Let's see. So 1 block gone. 2 blocks gone. Yes, we can see that was obviously the issue, guys. So remember to go into your left button and just append that little bit on line 10 there. So that is the mining complete. In the next video we'll go into some sort of inventory system, probably the same as what we've done here, including the hotkeys, which I don't think we've actually featured before, and the hotkeys is actually something really fun to do, so that will definitely be coming up. And then also we'll be adding some ores into the game like No Man's Sky does have, and maybe some ships and stuff, you know, just get some sort of a game built up. But anyway guys, that'll be it for this video. If you liked, remember to like, subscribe, or just do whatever you guys want to do, and I'll talk to you in the next one.